This is a step-by-step guide on how to complete Ranni the Witches questline to get the Dark Moon Greatsword. So let's get into it. Step 1. Okay, so I'm going to start this from scratch as if you're a brand new player. So some of these early steps might already be done for you. So for this first step, you'll want to talk to Ranni at night when she's chilling on the wall at the Church of Ella. If you can't remember if you did that because it was so long ago and you can't find her, it's likely you either already did it or you've progressed the story to the point that you don't need to do this part anymore. So we move on. Step 2. For the next part of the quest, you'll need to travel to Ranni's Rise. It's located behind Carrion Manor, which has all of those creepy hand spiders. Once you get to the end of Carrion Manor, you'll have to fight the boss, Loretta. But she's easy enough if you just use physical damage. A summon like the Mimic Tear and the Rotten Breath incantation works very well too. Step 3. Now that you've beaten Loretta and arrived at Ranni's Rise, just climb to the top and chat with Ranni. She'll ask you to serve her, just say that you will. From here, you're actually locked in the tower until you perform the next part, so just run downstairs and chat with her two see-through friends, and then head back up and talk to her. Now just rest at the site of grace downstairs, and if they weren't already, after all of that, your fast travel waypoints should be unlocked again. Step 4. Now this is another step that you may not need to do depending on how far you've progressed the actual story. But head over to Siofra River Well and go down the lift. Once you get there, follow my path to talk to Blade, the Wolfman NPC. If you've already beaten Radahn at this point, he won't be stood here anymore, but it's all good. We move on. Step 5, fast travel back over to the towers, but this time you're heading to Saluvis's Rise. So go chat with him and he'll give you a little quest. Don't worry, we're not doing it. We just need to trigger the next few parts of the quest line that we're currently on. After visiting Saluvis, you've got to visit another NPC, Selen, who is located in Waypoint Ruins. However, this part might not be needed either, depending on, again, where you're at in the main story. Once you get there, just clear out the big pumpkin head guy and then chat with Selen. I personally didn't have any extra dialogue with her, but I've already defeated the Elden Beast at this point, so that is probably why. It's also worth knowing that if you've already done the Selen quest line, then she will have moved from this location to the Grand Library in Raya Lucaria. So just chat with her about Saluvis, but depending on where you're at in the story, it's likely that you can just skip this step altogether. Step 6. For this part, you now have to beat Radahn. So if you've already done that, congrats. After defeating Radahn, you unlock the new area. A great way to get to it is from Fort Height West, and just keep heading north. Then follow the path into the crater. So just follow my path through the area. You can always come back and explore, but for now, we're just plowing through. Eventually, you'll come up to this boss door, which is the Mimic Tier boss fight. If you've not done this before, just unequip all of your weapons and armor, trigger the Mimic Tier, and then equip a weapon. The Mimic Tier will be using its fists with no armor, which means it will be a very easy fight. Once you get past this boss, just follow my path all the way to the item that Ranni has requested, which is the Finger Slayer Blade. Okay, once you've got the blade from the chest, you can go through the teleporter, which will send you back to just before the rooftop section. From here, just fast travel straight to Ranni's Rise, so you can give her the blade she requested. After you've given her the blade and you've exhausted her dialogue, Ranni won't have much else to say until you've left the area and come back. So fast travel anywhere on the map and then fast travel back to Ranni's Rise. If done right, Ranni won't be here anymore. So just head over to Renna's Rise, and at the top there will be a teleporter that will take you to the next area that we need. Step 7. Okay, so the teleporter should have taken you to Ainsel River Main. From here, you'll find a miniature Ranni doll. After you've picked it up, go rest at the Site of Grace, which is a little further up. And you'll see in the menu that you can talk to the Ranni doll. Just keep choosing this option until she finally replies to you. She'll give you a new quest to destroy the Baleful Shadow. Luckily, the enemy is located just at the end of this cave, so follow my path. Once you reach the Baleful Shadow, just defeat them. They're weak to piercing damage, as well as poison, fire, and scarlet rot. But be careful because they're strong against frost, magic, and sleep. So after doing this, you'll be rewarded with a key. Just take your newly acquired key and follow my path and head down the lift to the Lake of Rot. But we're not going through it just yet. We are going to get the Sight of Grace though, so we can fast travel back here shortly. Step 8. Now you've got the Lake of Rot Sight of Grace, it's time to head over to the Grand Library in Raya Lucaria. If you don't have it yet, then you're going to need to defeat Renala. You can beat her easily with physical damage. I'd recommend Rivers of Blood or Bloodhound's Fang. Once she's defeated, you can go into the library, and in the corner of the room is a chest. Go use the key you acquired earlier to unlock it, and you'll receive a ring, which is a key item for the last part of Ranni's questline. So now, fast travel to that Lake of Rot. From here, just follow my steps through the Lake of Rot. I'd really recommend getting yourself the Flame Cleanse Me incantation, which clears out all Scarlet Rot. You can find it here. Otherwise, just keep running and healing. Try not to make the mistake I made here by jumping on this last button, because it trapped me on a platform with a mini boss. If you did do the same because you were literally following my footsteps, it's all good. The boss is insanely easy, and then I found a ladder just in the corner over here. So just keep following my path until you reach the magic coffin that you have to ride down to a boss. This is Astel, Natural Born of the Void. He's a big boy with a bigger name, but don't worry, just use Rotten Breath on him and stay away from his annoying gravity attacks. And eventually, with the help of Scarlet Rot, his health will tick down to 0. So now you've beaten Astel, grab the Sight of Grace and progress through the cave to the north. You'll come across a lift which will take you up to the Moonlight Altar, so just follow my path, grab the Sight of Grace, and head northeast to the church. One side note here, if you fought the Glintstone Dragon back near Ranni's Rise and caused it to fly off, it will be waiting for you outside the church. You don't have to fight it, but I'd recommend you do, as you'll get an incredibly powerful frost spell that swings this massive giant sword causing cold damage. Now just head inside the church, grab all of these starlight shards because they replenish FP when you use them, and then head down the cave. This is where you'll see Ranni, just chat with her, give her the ring that you got from the chest at the Grand Library, and then go through all the dialogue. You'll then have to chat with the other version of Ranni until you've cleared that dialogue, and then finally you'll be able to pick up the Dark Moon Greatsword. You'll also now have the option to choose Ranni the Witches ending when you're stood at the end of the game in the final room. Now, if you want to know more about Ranni the Witch and the other crazy stuff going on in Elden Ring, you can check out my Elden Ring Lore for Dummies video on screen now and pinned in the comments. Thanks for watching.